I call a monthly regular meeting of the Dayton Board of Health to order. It's Thursday, December 10th, 2020 at 5:05 p.m. Be advised, this is a remote participation Zoom meeting. It is a public meeting being video and audio recorded for cable broadcast and internet posting at www.dayton-ma.gov and YouTube. And with that, I am going to just take a quick roll call of those on the meeting. As myself, Matt Tanis, the chair.
I'm here. Tom Myers.
Kevin Bernardo, present.
All right, we have all three members of the board present, and also on the meeting is our Board of Health staff and Building Commissioner, Mr. Aguirre. So with that, you all just join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, the Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty
and justice
for all.
Thank you. All right, new business. 3A, review, discuss, and act the transfer station attendant salary for 2021. I believe that would be fiscal year 2021. I believe there was supposed to have been a 2% increase, and the actual letter did not get sent over to my belief. So this has not taken place. So it's just a formality. Just like a vote basically to send a letter to the Board of Selectmen requesting the transfer station's attendant salary that had already been budgeted for the fiscal year.
There was some controversy about not only the transfer station attendant salary, but other non-union personnel. We did approve 2.5% in our budget, which was approved along the line and at town meeting. But that has, my understanding, all non-union people were, well, not all, some non-union people getting only 2%. We did not send over the payroll change form. That was the issue. So we developed a payroll change form, sent it over there for 2%, and I guess they're looking for our approval on that. Done. Over.
Yeah, I motion, Mr. Pius.
Well, I had a quick.
I'll make the motion to approve the 2% salary increase for the transfer station attendant.
I second that.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, just for the record, it was in our budget for a 2.5% raise, so we have the money.
Okay.
Yeah, but I know, but from the last time, they only approved 2% for yourself. So I think that's going to have to be at 2%. So.
Correct.
Yeah, that's what we sent the payroll change form over as 2% increase. I'm hoping this is not an issue. It shouldn't be. But because as we said, it was 2.5% approved all along the line. So over.
Perfect. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next under new business, review, discuss, and act on content.
Sorry, it must have been a lag. I don't have an agenda.
Well, I'll start with this one. Our town nurse had, since there is such an increase in the COVID cases and the amount of contact tracing necessary, uh, she was unable to, she notified us that she was not able to keep up with the contact tracing for the COVID. Our health agent, Mr. Pilling, and office manager, Ms. Grassy, took the training for contact tracing. They have been approved, and they now are doing the contact tracing and the Maven input. I don't know what else we want to say to that, but pretty much, along with everything else they're doing, they've now been tasked with this. So, over.
Are we looking to put this on the next agenda meeting for, looking for a nurse in the future?
Well, Laurie just couldn't keep up because of the 4 cases. The 4 towns that she does, it was getting to be too much for her. And the number of cases is astounding. Roz and I are each spending probably somewhere around 8 hours a day doing the contact tracing and dealing with COVID stuff. So try and do that for 4 different towns is just not enough time in her day to do it.
No.
So she's still there, and we consult with her every morning and multiple times during the day as we do the contact tracing. There are some exceptions to every case that we need her assistance on. So she's still there, but we're doing the lion's share of the work, talking to the people and entering it into the system.
I'm just worried, she's available for other things like pertussis or different emergencies that come up.
Yeah, we don't touch any of that stuff.
All right, good. So, but she's
She's
still
still doing
available
all
for that. Okay. So, how was the training, Todd?
Training wasn't too bad. The problem was that it was like 3 weeks after we did the training before we were allowed into the system. So it was like had to be retrained again. But we're getting the hang of it.
Good.
All right, very good. Anything else? All set. All right, moving on to old business. Under A, review, discuss, and act 800 Center Street. It's my understanding that we have not had any return communication since our letter was sent out, dated October 28th, 2020. Is that correct, Mr. Pilling?
That is correct. We've had no communication.
Okay. So at this point, they're in definitely not in compliance. The timeline, the 2 years has been exceeded. We have done everything we can to try and get compliance with them. And at this point, I'd recommend that we send this to town council to proceed with court and legal action against the owner of property.
Yeah, I would have to agree. We made several attempts, more just to reach out to the individual, extended time, working with them, but there's no compliance, so.
I'll make the motion and send it to town council for further processing.
Second that.
All right, any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Next, under old business, review, discuss, and act 2477 Maple Swamp Road.
So this is a health order to clean up trash on the property. And we've been by multiple times trying to keep an eye on him and make sure he's going in the right direction. And he has been cleaning it up. However, he's not done to my satisfaction yet. But he is going in the right direction, just slowly. Okay. Mr. Aguirre would like to pipe in that he's already contacted town council And Attorney Costa would like to speak with me and Mr. Aguirre next week.
All right. Anything from either of the other two board members?
Nope, that's, I guess they'll have the discussion next week and then we'll find out the next course of action.
All right. Stay on top of the situation there. Given the history there.
Yeah, every time I drive by, I do check on them.
Okay. Moving on then. Let's see. Update on 3147 Sharp Slot Road. I believe there was communication back from the attorney there that they were unable to meet due to an illness, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, we had a scheduled visit. I probably will have the date wrong, but I think it was December 4th or 2nd. And we were advised by his attorney that he had surgery and that they will contact us when he's ready to move on, and so we can complete the follow-up inspection.
Okay.
Yes, so we had another issue in that neighborhood where there was some animals roaming around. And so we had to reach out to Attorney Mitchell to find out if they were Mr. Wilson's. They ended up letting us onto the property, and I have the list somewhere, but there were goats and ducks and chickens and quails and cow, rabbits, and yeah, some waterfowl, ducks, goose. There was a lot of animals there, and so the animal control officer was also able to do her inspection. He still needs to file for a barn permit for it. But while we were on the property, we went and looked around, and there were no campers that anybody was living in. So they are in compliance with the order for not living in campers, but they still need a barn permit for their animals.
Perfect. That's good. Were they given a notice regarding the barn permit from animal control?
Well, from us.
Okay. All right. We'll hope that we get that permit in, the application in, and we'll proceed from there.
So Mr. Wilson isn't the one whose animals they are. We actually gave the application to the person whose animals they are when we were there doing the inspection and told him he needed to submit it. And sounded like he was going to comply.
Good. All right. Any other discussion? If not, move on. D, review, discuss, and act COVID-19 and under number 1, policies and anticipated expenses.
So, we know CARES Act is around, that's paying for our overtime. That runs out December 30th. We were also just given a grant from MAHB, Mass Association of Health Boards, because we were over a 4% positivity rate in Dayton. So it's not a good reason for it, but they gave us another $1,325 that could be used toward contact tracing. So on top of the 40 hours we're already doing, we're doing an extra 5 hours to keep up with the contact tracing. I'd like to think it's making a difference because we are calling these people as soon as we're getting them now, instead of them. Some of the cases, we're getting them 14 days after they were in a 10-day isolation. It's like, well, it doesn't help any. So we'd like to think it's making a difference. But that money also has to be spent by December 30th. So come December 30th, all the money's gone.
Okay. Well, I think there's a lot of question, not just with our department, but with the town, state, and country, what's going to happen after the CARES Act expires in a couple of weeks. So, unfortunately, there's no answer at this point. Wait and see what happens at the federal level and hope for the best. And if not, we'll have to proceed. We'll have to talk to the selectmen and finance committee and see what can be done to ensure that we can keep up with what's being required from the state level regarding the contact tracing and enforcement of the orders from the governor on our level with the Board of Health office. About the reopening procedures policies for the town offices and schools.
So we had talked about opening Old Town Hall for meetings in the upstairs space. And a selectman discussed it at their meeting, and it was determined that that space wouldn't necessarily be a good idea to have meetings in it. We're trying to keep people apart. The numbers are going up. And so for now, that meeting room is still closed. Obviously, we'll look at it again in the future as we see what the trends of the numbers are. The schools are seeing a lot of parents pulling their kids out. They have classes some days with only 2 kids in them. As we go on, especially after Thanksgiving, there seem to be even less kids there. There are also a lot more positive cases of custodians, staff, kids, family members of kids. So it's getting difficult for them to manage, the same as we are having trouble keeping up with the contact tracing. So it's been tough. I will say that the school nurses have stated that we are very responsive to them when they've been reaching out for different things, and we're putting them as a priority, and we're trying to take care of them and make sure that things are moving smoothly. I did meet with the schools today, Dighton, Rehoboth, because they want to start basketball season, because that is allowed to open on Monday, and they want to have a boys varsity, junior varsity, and freshman team, and a girls varsity and junior varsity team. Given the fact that we're in phase 3, step 1, they can have teams of 10. So it's a cohort that'll stay together, practice together, and those 10 are always together. They're not practicing with any other teams, but they get to play games against other teams. They have to wear masks the entire time. Right now, we have banned all spectators from being there while they're playing until we get past the new year and we see where the numbers are at. They are not allowed to practice on Wednesdays or Sundays because we don't want it to interfere with the days that the school is doing their deep cleanings. And I think that's about it. It's a lot. Bristol Aggie's been okay. They've only had a couple issues, but most of those problems seem to be in the elementary school and the high school.
I appreciate the update. Unfortunately, as it can be seen throughout the country, state, and the town here, we're well into our fall surge and seeing what trend is occurring after Thanksgiving with an even bigger surge, as unfortunately had been expected. I don't see things getting better, at least for the next probably 6 to 8 weeks. I think the holidays are probably going to make things worse for COVID cases, but that is yet to be seen. With that, I know the vaccine's around the corner, but with the phased rollout, won't be available to the general public at this point. It seems till the spring, April or May, and then there's the issue too of being able to get people to get the vaccine to a level that would actually start to see some progress with new cases. So I think we're in for a long couple months, and we're definitely in the thick of it, as can be seen right there with the schools. I'm surprised that the schools are still going to move forward with winter sports, or at least the basketball there. I know some other schools are canceling winter sports, but we'll see how it goes and hope for the best for them. Other than that, anything else from the board or you, Mr. Pillen, regarding COVID?
Todd, I just had one quick question. So you talked about the basketball. How many other towns are joining in?
So what we were told is whatever district they're in, I forget what he called it, but that all the teams wanted in. Nobody has opted out in that division.
All right.
And that's part of the reason.
I was just curious how many teams and how big it was.
Yeah, he named the towns, but I didn't write them all down. But it sounded like it was like a half a dozen teams in the division.
All right, thank you.
All right. Moving on through public input. If there's any public on, I don't see anybody.
Yeah, there's nobody waiting to be let in.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah, there's nobody waiting to be let in.
I'll move on to inspectors reports. Anything else to add to what you already filled us in with?
I do want to say that we have stopped doing perk tests for new construction. We had 2 sites in the last few weeks where we cut them in half for how many lots they wanted to do, because obviously I just don't have the time. Septic repairs we are still doing. Plan reviews and inspections are just taking a little longer because obviously contact tracing is more important than doing an inspection, but we are still trying to get to them and we're trying to keep up with everybody. Mr. Pyres has come out to watch water go down in the perk holes, which has freed me up for several hours of time, which has been fantastic. So I thank him for that. I don't think there's much else. It's been pretty much COVID all the time.
Very good. Unfortunately, slow perks are like watching paint dry. Looks like Mr. Aguirre has nothing to report to the board from the building commissioner. With that, any correspondence?
No.
All right. And
And with everything going on, I didn't get the minutes completed. I apologize.
okay, that's fine. We'll get to the minutes next month, or for the approval of the November 4th minutes for next month. And does the board have anything else?
I'm just thinking for next month, are we doing 6, 5 p.m.? What works best?
It doesn't make a difference to me. Or what's good for you, Kevin?
5 works.
Okay, and split the difference to 5:30.
Yeah, let's do that in case I get stuck in traffic or whatever.
I was thinking the same thing. If I get held up, 5's pushing it for me.
5 or 6 p.m., it doesn't matter.
Okay, about 5. We'll go with 5:30 for January.
Yeah, Jim says he would prefer 5, and obviously Roz and I are here, and it would be more convenient for us to shorten our day to do it earlier. But obviously, if you guys can't get here, then
Yeah.
We can do 5, Kev. If you get held up, we'll just
Yeah.
start in the meeting.
Hopefully we both don't get held up. But
Yeah.
but 5's good. Yeah, that works out.
All right. Well, we'll shoot for 5, and if we're a couple minutes late today, it's it happens. So, all right. If there's nothing else, then I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
I didn't have to.
Tom made the motion. Kevin,
I
the
didn't hear
second.
him. That's why I second that.
Excellent. All right. And all those in favor?
All right.
All right.
Opposed? So moved. We are adjourned at 5:29. And have a good night.
Thank you, guys. If I don't see you, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Same to you, Kevin.